The video, say those who've seen it, shows police in Memphis beating this man, Tyre Nichols, pulled over in a traffic stop January 7th. It's described as savage. Senior investigators in Tennessee say they've never seen anything so brutal.
I'm grieved. Frankly, I'm shocked. I'm sickened by what I saw.
In now laying criminal charges against the 5 now ex-officers accused, including second-degree murder for each of them, local authorities made their position clear.
While each of the 5 individuals played a different role in the incident in question, the actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyre Nichols, and they are all responsible.
I'm not watching the video, though.
You haven't seen it?
I don't want to watch it.
You haven't watched it?
No.
Why not?
Because I've heard everybody that watched it. Everybody that watched it said that it was horrendous. Like, why am I going to fucking subject myself to that and then add to the trauma that I already have with police? Like, I don't want to see it. I've heard enough people say that they saw it.
I had to watch it. I had to watch it because I had to understand why they fired those cops so fast. Remember we reacted to the press conference before they released the footage?
Yeah.
And they said these people are no longer and they're going to probably be charged.
Yeah.
I said
they just got charged.
Yeah. Got charged with
second,
which is what I watched it. That's what
that's what it was.
If you haven't seen the video, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. But basically, it starts with body cam footage, and the body cam footage shows a cop jumping out and yelling at the guy, and they're hyper aggressive off the top. And then once they're putting the dude on the ground, yes, he's resisting a tad bit, and you can see it, but they're also giving very confusing commands. You know what it makes me think of? Remember that hotel lobby video you see of that white kid being told, all right, put your hands behind your back, but don't move, and don't reach. And so he's trying to put his hands behind his back, but they think he's reaching for his waistband. So they're giving confusing things, commands that don't make any sense, and they end up shooting him. And that, to me, honestly, was one of the most egregious things I ever saw. This was similar in that sense that they're like, put your hand down or put it behind your back, but one person's holding his hand, the other one's putting the other hand. So it's like very confusing messaging. And then they just start pepper spraying him. So the dude panics and starts running. Now, irrespective of how you feel about resisting arrest or whatever, what matters in this whole case is what the officers did to him once they had a hold of him. Rather than trying to actually use their bodies and grab him and then put him behind. These dudes, there's no better way to describe this. It looked like a scene out of Mafia. You had dudes holding his arms, and then dudes was launching haymakers and kicking him in the face. And I don't mean like, I'm talking about they were unloading. These are 250-pound men. 3 days later, after you see it on camera too, because the body cam footage is not very clear, but the footage from the post, the lamp post or whatever it was, that shit caught it. Everything. And when you watch that footage, it's about 5 punches, 2 to 3 kicks. And like, he's done. He's out. And they're still launching on him. 3 days later, he dies from brain damage. And the autopsy from the family, they got their own coroner, basically said, yeah, from brain swelling and basically they're saying it's from the punches and the kick. I don't recommend you watch the video, but if you need to see it, go ahead so you can make your own judgments. But nobody can look at that section and then say those cops didn't go overboard. They didn't just go overboard. They went, well, that's murder.
Full stupid.
That's murder. It's not even stupid. I don't even want to use the word murder. This is not like a mistake was made. This is not like lacking faculties. These were hyper-aggressive cops that showed poor amount of training in regards to how they neutralize the subject. And then afterwards showed zero restraint and no accountability towards the others when they were going something that's clearly past the line. Every cop I've seen who watched this video said the same thing. There's nobody that has even tried to remotely defend it. So now you're looking at a lot of people giving their different takes. I'm just going to let you go. What do you want to say about this?
The thing is, I started the video. Okay? This is what happened. So I had the link for the video.
Okay.
And then I started it. And I paused it. And I was like, no, I'm not feeling that one. No. It's like I'm already tired. I'm not like I'm feeling cop videos like that.
Yeah, what do you mean?
It's not that. It's
that
really,
sounded crazy, son.
But it's really just. I've you know, remember like a couple of times back then when we were covering police stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was like super tired.
Yeah. You cover the first 8 to 10 police videos, and then by the 12th one, you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah. And I gotta subject to that, and I sometimes Facebook it shows me videos like that, and I'm like I become tense.
Yeah.
in the shoulders, my jaw.
Yeah.
Everything is like I got not and now like everybody that saw it, that I know that saw it from bottom to end, they're like, oh.
Oh yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal, and it's also why I tell people don't do street fights. It only takes a few punches for you to kill somebody. It only takes a few. You could listen. Honestly, there was like 8 hits in there, but I guarantee you, he was probably done and out by the first 3 to 4. This is why it's not a joke, because people get brain swelling and then they bleed and they die. I mean, you watch that shit and it really looks like a criminal organization putting out some street justice. And no one can tell me otherwise.
And the thing with cops is that it's never been a question of color. For me, it had nothing to do with color. And to me, if you're black and you're wearing a cop uniform, you're now blue. Before you're black. White, same thing. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It's the organization itself that I'm like, ugh, that I got an issue with whenever they stop. It makes me think of whenever we were kids and then the teacher would designate someone out of the class to watch over the class. And once that person had the power, that person turned into a whole ass bitch. And then you're like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what is this? What's this? You're acting brand new. The only thing is that these cops are acting brand new with guns in people's lives. That's the thing that's a bit messed up. And I'm telling you, a lot of these cops do not have the proper training to de-escalate situation. That is not what they do. That is not what they do. They entice and they get you to get provoked, and then they charge you with whatever you got provoked on. So you got to be very careful. That's why I don't really like the way some of them are really, yeah. You're saying, oh yeah, well, preacher, talk about all cops. You talk about all cops. Whenever you're going to be held accountable, it's going to be after the fact and it's too late. Not on the moment when it happens. That's not what happens. You do that after the fact.
When you watch our conversation afterwards and how they're like pretty nonchalant about everything, it indicates to me that they've done this many times before. Imagine all the people they beat like this that didn't go and die. Think about that. The body cam footage, honestly, just looking at it, you wouldn't have been able to tell exactly everything that's going on. It's the footage from the lamppost. Think about the times they did this when there wasn't a lamppost. Think about how often this shit happens when nobody's around and there's no cameras to film. Think about all the police departments that are fighting tooth and nail to refuse body cam footage. Think about that. It ain't just about this case. It's about the issue at large. How easy these motherfuckers did that shit, you know it's not their first time.
It's crazy because you look at people that work in a call center. This call may be recorded for quality purposes. Come on, B, you know damn well that and in some call centers, they pull out 2 random calls but you cops don't want to be subjected to body cam.
A lot of resistance.
A lot of resistance for the body cam. Why? Because you know you fuck up.
I understand to some degree because there's such a heightened degree of scrutiny when it comes to everything a cop does. So even reasonable things that cops do, people scrutinize. For example, let's say a perp pulls out a knife and he starts swinging at people. Folks will say, well, why didn't you shoot the leg? And if you look at the body cam footage, it's like, bruh, some of you guys and the things that you demand cops to do is not reasonable for anyone with a trained weapon. No. There is no training in the world that tells you to shoot people in the leg. But people say that. The public is so hyper scrutinizing cops, every single thing
That's
they do,
TV.
That they are being ridiculous with their demands. And so cops feel like they can't even do their job. And even when they do, they're not appreciated for it. So a lot of cops are actually just leaving the force en masse in some areas. And so I understand the frustration there. On the other side, listen, these guys had multiple complaints against them already in the past. Think about what they've done to other people. Wearing that badge, it just comes with extra responsibilities, and there's some measure of oversight that needs to be implemented. But a lot of cops are more concerned with protecting their own than serving the public. Think about it. Even the guys who weren't doing the punching but were holding the dude, they didn't stop him at all. They didn't stop the other dudes punching him. Their job is to protect the public, but instead they prioritize the other guys who are wearing the same uniform. The people that they were elected to protect and serve are the ones that they're harming. Why? Maybe some of them had second thoughts and they didn't feel comfortable, but they wanted to protect their own. When you see stuff like that, it makes you look at cops a bit differently.
That's not what they're hired for. They're not hired to protect the public.
Yes, you're right.
They're not hired to protect the public. They are hired to protect the people that hire them, that pay them. You know what I mean? They're here to protect the interest of the city and the interest of everybody that's in there in the government. They're not here to protect. It's like thinking that HR is here to protect the people working there. No. Any places that call humans resources is not here for the humans, but to take them as resources.
So let me ask you.
Go ahead.
They did fire everybody and charge them with murder right away. Isn't this what you want to see?
That's what I want to see, but here's what my problem is the accountability. What I have a problem is the accountability. When that happens, it's too late. We lost the motherfucker. You understand? And I understand that that's what they have to do and everything and stuff. And yes, what they did, they fired him right away. There was no bullshit. What the department did, I got to give it to Caesar. What they did is what they were supposed to do. I do have to give it to the precinct and the department and be like, whoa, I can't hide this.
I mean, there's no way they can't.
I can't hide this. I can't. You know, it was burnt. Exactly. It's this or we're losing the whole city. Is that we're losing? I can't. No. And the fact that they released the footage on top of that, just the transparency. I feel. You know what? Good question that you ask. I feel like there's some things that are changing. It's a bit too long for me, but change requires time, and I got that. I understand that, right? In the department, you got to give it to them. They did what they were supposed to do.
Okay. Some people feel as though the main reason why the department acted so quickly was because the police officers were black.
To that, I will reply. The problem is not that they acted quickly, is that they should act like that with white officers. That's it. That's it. The wonderful thing, though, is that I feel, that's my little side of hope. I feel like other precincts that are not going to act according to that, like that, it's just like a precedent. You know what I mean? It's just like something like where people are looking at this like, no, that's what they did. Everybody's going to remember what happened with those officers. So the ones after that, because of course there's going to be other ones, people are going to look at them, are going to look at their precinct funny and be like, no, that's how we act from now on. That's how we act from now on. So if you're telling me they acted quick because they were black, I will say maybe they did what they were supposed to do, maybe because they were black, maybe. But now, even if it's a white one, they need to do the same. The problem is not that they acted fast because they're black. The problem is that whenever they're white, it's a bit weird. So I think they didn't act fast. They act accordingly. The other things, well, they need to step it up for the other things. But this was supposed to happen like that.
I think outside of the Derek Chauvin thing, I don't remember seeing too many instances with cops that were this flagrant. Not too many. My feeling is that because this was caught on camera so clearly, and they were doing stuff that had nothing to do, they beat him like it was mafia. That's what they did. It wasn't a self-defense thing where you could argue or whatever. They held the man and they basically murdered him. Sorry. They murdered him. I think because the footage was so severe, they had to fire these people. And I'm quite confident. This is my belief. You can disagree. We can all disagree. That this is 5 cops holding a black man like this. Grabbing him by the arms. My apologies.
You good.
Right? And doing both sides and grabbing him. Right? And then swinging haymakers. I'm very confident they would have fired those. Maybe you disagree. But I don't remember seeing footage like that. Do you? Other than the Derek Chauvin one.
You know what? And even if we don't remember, and there has been, it doesn't change the fact. It doesn't change anything.
What I'm trying to say is,
exactly,
what was caught on camera, this might be the most egregious thing I've seen. Probably.
Flagrant.
This is the one for me, surprisingly, of all the footages I've seen, that was the most crazy. Because you have it on camera. So maybe you guys have a different recollection. Again, let us know. But me, I think that's what really determined the severity of the punishment. Because personally, I've seen plenty of precincts defend black police officers who were in the wrong in certain situations. And generally, they prioritize the uniform above race than anything else. To me, it was just... It's hard to look at that footage and think police. You literally think gang. So I think that's what really determined the fast action, not the race. But that's me personally.
It's not the issue.
But it is, because if you're alleging that this only happened because they're black, and then well, that's not the case. I think the footage is actually the reason. That's what I'm trying to get at. The footage is literally, I've never seen anything like it.
I saw the position of the camera, and I saw the clarity of what it is, and I said, no, I'm gonna see everything.
No.
And that's why I had to stop.
Yeah. This is very unique. Because even with the George Floyd stuff, people were saying, well, his system gave out. Where was his knee on his neck? And I'm like, you can try to make that defense, but I don't think it's going to fly. That looked like murder to me. This one, you can't make a defense. I'm going to tell you this. Those cops are going to snitch so fast on each other to get police. The ones who held the arms and didn't do the swinging are going to be snitching on the men who did the swinging. I promise you. From cop to CI.
You best believe.
Yes, from cop to CI.
You best believe.
Yeah, believe it's not just criminals who do snitching. Cops do too.
Best believe.
Yeah, they're going to do some telling.
Oh,
I promise.
That's even if they let them. Because they're going to be like, no.
Oh, they'll let them.
They'll
let them. They'll let them. They want the ones who was doing the swinging and the kicking, they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
They're going to be going. Someone's snitching. So I just want to say that. Anything else you want to say?
No.
All right, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Did we miss anything? In regards to the family, this is just terrible. And, the family watched the video first, and I couldn't imagine watching one of my loved ones being murdered like that in front of me on camera. And so, the family, I feel for them. That actually gave me shivers when I went back to watch the press conference, because I remember watching the press conference before where they described what they watched, and then watching the footage, and I'm like, oof, I would have been crying for days. So, that really hurt me. So, don't recommend y'all watch it, but hey, man, yeah, that's my thoughts. Anything else?
No.